just an incredible story, and it's so charming, it's so British, and I think it's just what we need at this time of year as well. But also, he's so young, 16.
It's almost inconceivably young for a sportsman to come into a sport like darts, which has always been the realm of sort of people my age and older, and even people wider than me, which takes doing these days. And for him to look, you know, to be so innocent as he walks on, it's a great good news story, and the fact that he's incredibly talented as well just adds to the lustre of the whole tale.
It really does. I mean, in terms of the sport of darts, because it comes under some fire for not really being a sport. People are like, well, there's not much movement involved. You can do it in a pub. Is it a sport? I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, look, it's taken darts from the sort of the heart of the pub to the heart of the public, hasn't it? In just a few weeks, it seems. Anything that's got some degree of athleticism, some degree of physical action is a sport. Is pool a sport? Just about, yeah. Is darts a sport? Absolutely. It's not football, it's not cricket, it's an indoor game, but that doesn't mean it isn't a sporting contest and something of merit. You've got to be incredibly talented to do it, because, you know, I've got a dartboard at home, useless, utterly useless. Can't barely hit the board, let alone hit treble 20. So for him to do it so regularly, averaging 100 in virtually every match he's played, beating 2 world champions to come to this stage, I mean, it's just incredible.
Now, the way that the sport is growing, we're going to talk shortly to a sort of sports marketing expert about this, but it's gone from strength to strength. It's really grown. We talked about the prize money that's on offer, how much money this generates. Can you just see it going even bigger? And in terms of international, where does it sit there?
I mean, the way you go international is to crack the US, obviously, but you know, people in the US play darts. I remember I watched Ted Lasso and he was playing darts and pretended, you know, the character had played darts in Kansas. So there are people in the States who play. But it is about that wider public recognition outside the hotbed of the game, which is obviously the UK, but also in continental Europe. There've been the odd American, Canadian players. But if those start coming along and start to make a crack, it really would be big. But also, look, a story like this is crying out to be turned into a screenplay, hasn't it? It's a proper movie story to be written.
Yeah.
You can see it, and that would be another thing that would take it on to the next dimension as well.
Well, you saw the way he's inspired those kids at that dance academy in the report we just watched. They call him the Nuke. They've all got nicknames and things like that. I mean, in terms of him, if he wins this, what could this turn into for him in terms of his notoriety as a sportsman?
Well, he'll become one of the faces of British sport straight away. I mean, it's a remarkable story in itself. He, you know, in an Olympic year, would his achievement be transcended? Possibly, with England to win the Euros, maybe more important. But when it comes to breakthrough stars of the year, he'll be very much in there. And he's just starting. He's 16. He could do this for 30 years. That's a bit of a worrying concept. I mean, but he could be doing it for an awful long time. He will be able to go into the professional tour that they have if he wants to. I think I read somewhere a piece from him saying I might just calm it down a little bit. I don't want to get carried away. I don't want to be burnt out at 20 or whatever.